Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So the Gamergate situation roars on, and today we have some more game journalists to laugh at because there's been another round of articles that are absolute knee slappers. And like a lot of the other articles we've covered, this is once again about Stellar Blade, because Stellar Blade, whether it's Twitter users or game journalists, has been the target of virtue signaling because people are outraged mainly over the design of the main protagonist of this franchise, Eve. Now, of course, there's been a lot of comparisons between—
Hey, yo! Hold on. I don't want to rob you guys of this image. Look at that shiny butt! I could see my face reflected in it. Okay, anyways.
between Eve from Stellar Blade and 2B from Nier Automata, and a lot of people have been trying to attack Stellar Blade in comparison. We've seen viral tweets like this saying, was Nier Automata's release like this? Where everyone was like, huh, take that, nerds, this one is for the straights. I feel like most people were chill and just played the game, which was both sexy and fun and cleverly written, which was not the case. People were being called incels and attacked for enjoying 2B's design way back when Nier initially released, and that is something people are trying to rewrite. We've also seen people call this soulless gooner bait.
You got the Holy Trinity is what they meant to say. Not, they said soulless gooner bait, but what they meant to say is the Holy Trinity of waifu. When you have all three, you have ultimate power. That is what they meant to say.
It is compared to Nier and Bayonetta. And of course, all this is extremely ironic if you know the relationship between the creators of Stellar Blade and Nier, and that has been once again reinforced by this article, where you can see the title here saying, Nier Automata director Yoko Taro says he thinks Stellar Blade is much better than his game, but Stellar Blade's director says he feels Automata is superior.
Oh my god, so the two game devs are like, oh, no, your game is better. They're both, like, talking each other up. Like, even the game devs like each other from both companies.
Very wholesome stuff, and you can see there's definitely going to be some collabs between these franchises, and the creators are clearly very respectful of one another, get along.
Hell yeah. We get to see all of these women together. We get to have the collabs and co-star waifus. That is great.
Very well, and respect each other's products very highly, despite whatever Twitter is trying to say. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this video, we're going to be looking at an article about Stellar Blade that is a knee slapper. So you can see the headline here. It speaks for itself. What's behind the controversy around the upcoming PlayStation 5 exclusive Stellar Blade? Izzy van der Velde dives into the game's sex appeal, Orientalism, and whether it panders to the male gaze. That's a lot of buzzwords, by the way.
I was gonna say, that sounds like an article that I would specifically go out of my way not to read at all.
A lot of people are talking about this article right now, mainly making fun of its outrageous claims. And before we get into this absolute slop, I want to give you guys a palate cleanser, something that you can enjoy, a delicious couple of meals perhaps, thanks to the sponsor of today's video. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the Giga Chads at HelloFresh have returned to sponsor this video.
Healthy
Click
food.
the link in the description or use my code and get 10 free meals plus free dessert for life while subscription is active. Now, what is HelloFresh? It's America's #1 meal kit featuring a large selection of meal options for you to enjoy without the hassle of shopping at the grocery store. Look, you're busy. You have anime girls to simp over, game journalists to laugh at.
Right. Why would I spend my time going to the grocery store? I could be spending that time with my 2D waifu.
So on and so forth. You don't have time to go out to the grocery store or time to figure out complicated recipes. The solution to this problem is, of course, HelloFresh. HelloFresh makes your life easy by bringing fresh ingredients to your doorstep, coupled with their easy-to-follow recipes that'll have Gordon Ramsay looking like an amateur, unworthy of your cooking skills. I also love HelloFresh because they offer not only delicious meal options, but also high-protein and diet-conscious meal options for people like me who want to maximize their gains at the gym. Thanks again to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. Click the link in the description or use my code and get 10 free meals plus free dessert for life while subscription is active. Welcome back, guys. So here's the article titled Stellar Blade and the Male Gaze, and it asks the question, attractive to who? Now, feel free to give your answer to that in the comments section, but let's start this article. It goes, Stellar Blade, the upcoming sci-fi action RPG from Korean studio Shift Up, has been thrust into the center of video game culture wars that seem as old as gaming itself.
Isn't the whole point Isn't the whole entire point that they are attractive and that's why people are mad? Like, because there is sex appeal and because people like that? Because if they weren't attractive, then all of these arguments probably wouldn't work, right? Like,
The fight can be seen most clearly of late in the vocal pushback against narrative consulting company Sweet Baby Inc. for pushing to have more diverse female characters. A select few Steam and Twitter users are now up in arms. Now, these vocal few are praising the buxom and bouncy protagonist of Stellar Blade, Eve. They say evokes a time they miss when women in games used to be titillating and attractive. She caters to the so-called male gaze.
well, I mean, okay, the most prominent player of games early on was men. So when you're trying to sell to an audience, if they're a majority men that buy your games, you might want to appeal to your demographic audience, which is men. But also, like, the people that are offended as girls is very few. A lot of girls like this as well. We might be a smaller demographic, but we're growing by the day, and I don't think most of us really have a problem with this in any way.
Now you can see what they're saying here. This is a strategy they do throughout this article where they try to say gamers hate X, but like X sometimes because of reason Y. And that's what they're doing with female characters. They're trying to claim that gamers hate female characters, but like Stellar Blade because of the male gaze. It's an outrageous claim, and it's just as outrageous as the way they frame the Sweet Baby Inc. controversy. They say that the only reason people are mad at Sweet Baby Inc. is for pushing for more diverse female characters, which is not what they're doing. They're injecting an entire woke agenda into games that is clearly lowering the quality of these games as they crash and burn and
They're creating fake problems, that's all. They're creating fake issues that don't exist and wanting to change something that people already like. Nothing needs to be changed. Chill out. Get over it. It's all just like a couple people on the internet that are like insecure about themselves.
sales, and a lot of people have created and follow these curation lists to avoid bad products with forced agenda in them. Clearly, people are okay with female characters being in games. Stellar
Yes.
Blade, for example, but people don't want to deal with the nonsense that comes with Sweet Baby Inc. and their employees, much like the employee who started this entire situation with the harassment campaign they launched against Cabrutus for making the curation list. This behavior also told people to avoid Sweet Baby Inc. because who would want to buy a
This is all degenerate, non-grass touching behavior. Go outside. The entitlement of a few select people to pitch the largest temper tantrum imaginable.
product or trust a product that
Whoa.
was touched upon by someone who has such a disdain for gamers. That's why those curation lists exist in the first place. But continuing on, they talk about the male gaze. So they get a little historical here, saying,
Oh,
an
God.
academic term coined by the film theorist Laura Mulvey in 1973, the male gaze is often portrayed as seeing a scantily clad woman on screen being bad. Now, it's kind of a mistake to get into this historical.
Oh my goodness, the girl in Stellar Blade, she's been a bad, bad girl. I really don't like these comparisons either, because, like, it's not meant to represent realism at all, you know? This is a fantasy game that you're trying to, like, put your own ideals into, and that's, like, so delulu, man.
Definition, because this definition right here, it's kind of confusing when it's applied to Eve from Stellar Blade. You know, if you take the language of it, and really it's strange towards any female video game character, but they continue on down here saying developer Shift Up appears to be leaning into the male gaze heavily. On its Twitter account and in interviews, it has been sure to draw close attention to the fact that Eve's body is taken from scans of a Korean model, and this is the justified choice of a body model, and they claim we wanted to come up with the most attractive looking body for the user. PlayStation's promotional material has backed this up, with Instagram trailers focusing on revealing outfits. On the revealing outfits, players can dress Eve up in. Shift Up did not return a request for comment. I can't believe Shift Up did not return your request for comment. I cannot believe they would turn down game journalists trying to slander and attack their products.
Yeah, crazy that they don't want to talk to you or care about your opinion whatsoever. It turns out that the male gaze has existed a long time, which is really just that sex sells. You could say this exact same thing about male characters, you know, in TV shows with their shirts off that are ripped. That would be catering to the female gaze, and say like, oh, they don't represent, you know, guys with beer bellies as often on the TV screen. You know, why does Captain America have a six-pack, you know? I can't relate to his body type. I feel like, you know, the female gaze is contributing to me, you know, not feeling represented.
But anyways, we see this whole
Ay,
focus
ay,
on the
ay.
male gaze. And yes, the main protagonist was made from a 3D scan of a Korean model. We know this, and a lot of people appreciate this. And we also know that the Stellar Blade devs have been leaning into the fan service aspect of this game. And I
God
asked you in
forbid.
response, what is the issue?
God forbid!
How is this hurting women?
Not
We've
a sexy
seen
girl
some IGN
in my game.
authors try to claim this is literally killing women as a result of, you know, attractive characters like this existing. But I really want to know how this is
Taking
hurting women,
emotional
especially
damage
when
when I
women
look at her booty
are
cheeks.
enjoying this design in this game as much as men are. Now, going forward, it says this. Denny points out that this is textbook male gaze. Attractive to who? Asked Denny. To what gender? What sexuality? What nationality? A lot in that choice is assuming a lot of things about who the developers think the player is going to be. Now,
Yeah,
they
that's
asked this at the
crazy.
beginning of the article, and
That's
of course,
nutty.
in true clickbait fashion, they wait until the end of the article to answer this. So let's skip ahead and get their
Oh
answer.
my god, of course they do.
The truth is, a lot of people
Because they're desperate to have someone read their shitty article. Please read it. We have to clickbait the hell out of it.
men, women, non-binary, straight, queer find Eve attractive. Wow, who would have thought? Ladies and gentlemen, yes, everyone enjoys Eve. That is not a shock to anyone who is not a game journalist. However,
We all have eyes, okay?
they want to spin this to somehow still attack men who enjoy this character. So they say, however, the way Stellar Blade is being marketed is drawing in the new Gamergate 2 crowd, and Eve is being used as a cudgel by which to bash other feminist protagonists and even women journalists like Kotaku's.
Damn. I didn't know that Stellar Blade had DLC where they ripped on Kotaku. I would pay extra for that. I want to see her, like, do a triple backflip, like, wombo combo in the, you know, shiny booty jumpsuit and just KO Kotaku. That would be epic.
Mercante, merchant, mercantilism. We still don't know how to pronounce her name. It's fine. But anyways, this idea that now
Wow.
people are bashing female protagonists in games. Proof. Nobody's going around and bashing 2B or Bayonetta or Samus or these other characters. Nobody's doing that. They're making this up. And then they're...
And if anybody is doing that, nobody's listening to them or caring.
once again reinforcing this deflection of criticism being directed at Kotaku's editor here, Alyssa. They're just dismissing it as, oh, they hate her because she's a woman. No, they're criticizing her because of her outlandish comments on social media, her routine attacks on people based on the color of their skin, advocacy for violence against people based on the color of their skin, and also her proud celebration of being ageist towards groups of people that she doesn't like. And that goes only at the surface. There's much more to criticize her for, but these are the main things that people are most angry about when it comes to her.
It's this pretty girl's fault that I'm getting called out for my bad takes. Nah, this girl lives in her own fictional reality separate from yours and doesn't have the ability to know you exist, luckily.
So at this point, deflecting it as just her being a woman is a cop-out. But moving forward, they say this. While Eve's body was made from a scan of Shin's, her face was made in-house. And
Okay,
Shin
who
wasn't
cares?
used for motion capture.
Who
They didn't
cares?
choose an athlete or a martial artist or even an actor, said Denny.
Why do
you
they
don't
need to?
want her as a performer. You just want her from the neck down. It seems to be very much a statement of the parts of this woman that are of value.
Wow,
Now,
okay. That is crazy. That is wild. They're grasping at straws, and I don't even know what the straw is made out of. Like, this is I love this one the most. It makes no sense.
The only people denigrating this woman's value to simply the neck down seems to be game journalists. Those are the only people who are being very weird about this entire
Yeah, I was gonna say that's crazy, game journalists, that you would even think that way in any capacity. Says a lot more about you, honestly.
thing. And also, again, what's the big deal with this scan? And the face being different is something that Western developers have been apparently struggling with. So you're going to criticize them for making the face slightly different than the real person it's based on. And a week ago, we saw people criticizing the main protagonist of the upcoming Star Wars game for not looking anything like the woman she was based on. And we saw
I forgot about
people
that.
in the Western game development sphere come out and defend this design, saying, Too Long Didn't Read here, that this face is hard to do because scanning face and translating them to the games is extremely hard and nobody can really figure
Of course they're defending it because it goes along with what they want, right? They will be hypocritical because they literally just want their opinion validated. They don't really want to use logic. They only want to use, like, broken logic in order to validate stuff that they already have. Oh, this character looks different and she's hot. Well, I don't like hot characters, so that's not okay.
it out. So basically, is this developer a liar according to these new claims in this article? Are they lying about this? Well, of course, this person's also very weird, by the way. So when people said this, he's right, you wrote all that and there's no Eastern developers that do this. And they replied saying, yeah, we can go into fetishization of plastic, reductive, and hypersexualization of pixels after I'm done cleaning my bathroom from all the diarrhea I had today. Yes, once again, the normal people in the gaming industry. But it gets worse. When someone said this, I'm going to laugh so hard when you lose your job, he replied saying, I have too many friends for that and can give amazing head.
What?
So what they're saying is no matter how much I mess up at my job, I will not lose out of my job in the gaming industry because I have a lot of friends protecting me. And also, if there's an issue, I can perform sexual acts to keep my job in the gaming industry. Do you see why people are very...
I hate sexualized girls in video games. I won't lose my job because I got a lot of friends and I can suck dick really well. Excuse me, what? Hold up. What? Yeah, bruh.
individuals like this from the gaming industry? It's really, really disturbing, honestly. But moving forward in the article, it says this: the lack of performance attached to Eve's body has already been noted by internet culture writer Jita Jackson. Eve doesn't seem to have any reaction to her own sexiness. There's no knowing facial expressions, no flipping of her long ponytail, which players can shorten in the options menu. She has no idle animation except when she's on a ladder. She just stands there. She's sexy but doesn't know it. She's athletic and acrobatic, but entirely controllable. If she did know...
Why would this matter? So they're saying she needs to be a narcissist because she's so hot. Okay.
If she could move for herself, it would shatter the illusion of many of the gamers championing her because she has the agency to be able to reject them rather than simply be controlled by them.
What? What?
I don't really have a rebuttal to this. I'm just going to ask a question. Is this person okay? This is a video game character, and you're talking about autonomy and whether Eve would think for herself or not, or how she would feel about things.
She needs to be aware of the crime she has committed by being sexy. She needs to look in the mirror and go, oh my god, I'm attractive. Like, what? What in the world? No, she doesn't have real life reactions because this isn't a real game. Everyone in this universe, a lot of other girls and guys in this universe are also very hot. You know? Even if we attach some type of logic from the real world in here, if everyone is a 10 in this universe, then, you know... I don't think she would, like... That's so weird. Like, it's like she has to be attractive and know it. That's so weird.
She doesn't think or feel. She's not real. This is a very, 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 very far reach to...
Also, isn't she isn't she a robot or an automaton or something? She's actually not a person, right? Like, so it actually adds a little bit to, like, who she is as a character in the game. She's not a person, right? She's an android, isn't she? So, arguably, as far as the story goes, the fact that she doesn't notice adds more to the character she is, really.
Claim that this character not having the idle animations you like is somehow the controlling desires of men because they want to have female characters with no agency. It's a very strange claim. But moving forward,
I don't think she's a victim of society or a narcissist. I think she's an android that's attractive. Like,
they go on to say, you could think of Eve as the culmination of a long line of characters constructed by the male gaze, explicitly or not. From Lara Croft to the various concubines Kratos beds in the original God of War trilogies, sex minigames, plenty of women in video games are designed to be ogled. So yeah, this is very interesting because they bring up God of War. And we know why those sorts of things have been nixed in the recent games because lo and behold, God of War Ragnarok, a Sweet Baby Ink project. Oh man, I wonder why those things are changing, huh?
Oh boy.
They came in and they took care of that ogling, huh, in that game. But all these...
Can't have sexual things in my, fantasy universe. I might get insecure in real life about people being sleazy in my video games.
Claims about the male gaze is pretty much instantly defeated if you just bring up the fact that this is the team at Stellar Blade where there are plenty of females working on the team, including on the art team that designed the main protagonist in the first place. But, if you're going to have one desperate claim, you might as well add in another one. And this is the Orientalism claim that this article is making. So it says, there's also a peculiar type of Orientalism surrounding Stellar Blade. Some are holding up Stellar Blade as an antidote to woke Western games, and many people commented they'd be purchasing a Japanese version of Stellar Blade to secure access to the region-exclusive Japanese dub, despite it being a Korean game with a Korean dub. Is it because that's difficult to get a hold of, so you're a bigger gamer or fan if you can demonstrate that you've gone the extra length to get that version?
Who's gonna tell them that there's, people that don't speak Korean or English? I feel like they're so inside their own weird bubble that has no logic that they forgot that Japanese people exist who might want it in their native language.
Is it because there's a particular respect for Japanese voice cast? That might be part of these generous readings, or is it because actually Korean femininity doesn't have the connotations for Western colonial imagination that Japanese femininity does? It's almost like in order to fulfill the fantasy of puppeteering this attractive woman and putting her in certain outfits and placing the camera...
This man is creating his own dystopian novel that doesn't even exist. Like, he's following logic that is based off nothing to make conclusions. They're like getting high on their own supply. That is what this is. Like, their head is so far up their own ass that they cannot see anyone around them. Like, that's what this is.
It's almost like in order to fulfill the fantasy of puppeteering this attractive woman and putting her in certain outfits and placing the camera just right, she needs to be Japanese. Holy moly, what a fanfic that is.
Yeah, so, he really just made a hateful fanfic about his own reality.
To buy this with the Japanese dub, I don't really understand what the problem is in the first place. That seems like a reach to think that's a problem. But this section right here is so unhinged. If you think someone is operating on Orientalism, they would just buy the Korean version.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What do you mean? Now we're like power scaling these Asian cultures in terms of how much Orientalism is being attached to them by people in the West. It's so strange. And you have to go to these crazy lengths to try to make these claims. And it's just, like, I don't know what to say sometimes. It's crazy. On the one hand, Stellar Blade is going to kill women. On the other hand, it's promoting the male gaze. On the other hand, it's promoting Orientalism.
It's just entertaining.
Like, what else is it
going
to do? Is it poisoning our food supply? Like, what else can you possibly claim about this game that just has an attractive female lead? Well, they continue on to say,
It's like, geez, you know, there should be a warning on the box that seeing the clap of her, you know, ass cheeks might cause mental damage. There needs to be a warning on the box, apparently.
this statistics show this isn't true. As of 2023, about 50% of people who play games are women. Shift up assuming an audience of men and leaning into the male gaze so explicitly is, in essence, a marketing move that purposefully others a huge number of potential players, which is very odd. If the producers want to create video games that are only in
What? Female gamers? Games don't exist for those. Gamers don't exist for, you know, women. Women playing games with attractive women in them? That doesn't happen. No.
intended for male audiences, it's really unwise because they are alienating a huge demographic. Here's the crazy thing. They admit
I really hope that stat is true. Because I know at least it didn't used to be, but that is so hype. If actually around 50% of people who play games are women. I don't know where the source is for that, but like I hope so.
in the same article that all types of people enjoy Eve from Stellar Blade. So what are they yapping about here? And also targeting
No, you can't use that logic. Then they can't say that you know, men are the problem. If everyone's buying the game and it's successful, it has to be all men. Otherwise, their argument doesn't work. Stop. False. It's not real. Don't read that.
50% of the market, even if this claim is true, that's a pretty big part of the market. And again, this is once again trying to claim that women could not enjoy this character. Trust me, when it comes to the male gaze of Eve, a lot of women are gazing at this character too. They like it too. It is so mind-blowing to these journalists that women enjoy these.
Girls cannot, in fact, say awooga when they look at shiny Stellar Blade physics. That has never happened, not once.
Designs too, but that's something that's been common among game journalists for a long time now.
It disobeys the laws of the universe.
Here's the end of the article. It says, Denny thinks game companies could stand to expand their horizons when it comes to attraction, rather than just catering to the male gaze and creating hourglass figures and jiggly bits. Why not consider the muscle mommies, the dad bods, disabled people? Greater representation in body types doesn't have to mean less attractive. Yeah, guys, Stellar Blade is really wrong in appealing to the male gaze by focusing on having an attractive body on its main protagonist. So let's solve that by having some more muscle mommies. Do you hear yourself? These people, it's not even like they're making it easy. They are literally bringing out the tee, putting the ball on the tee, handing you the bat, and saying, okay, go ahead. And
It's kind of messed up if you're not okay with dissociating and having like an idealist looking character in your games. Are you gonna be mad because guys in video games carry like great swords that are like bigger than their entire body that their arm could never lift? It makes me insecure that he can pick up that sword because I know in real life I could never pick up a sword that big.
up on this one. It's so ridiculous. There's zero self-awareness whatsoever. And anyways, like if you liked any of these, like the muscle mommy, for example, people on Twitter would still say you're an incel for liking that character. We all know how that operates. But of course, the only people supporting this article...
You can't win with these type of people. It's better to just ignore them or laugh at them.
Or of course,
Eat
other members of
while
the
seeing
industry
how
like
delusional they
Khalif
get.
here, we've seen a couple of times on this channel. He is a L factory when it comes to his takes. Recently, he defended the localization thread made by Capcom, which everyone had a problem with, except for him, of course, where people said unironically supporting censorship, where he claims willful censorship isn't a thing, responding to a thread that is entirely about willful censorship of products for a global audience. But anyways, this article was an absolute stinker, and a lot of people are clowning on it, and for good reason. And
I feel like these type of people would like every game developer to make things within their cardboard box that never goes outside of it. It's like, no, not every character is a representation of you. No, not every country that creates a game is going to have your value structure. Like, no, every fantasy universe isn't going to cater to your idea of realism. Calm down, go outside, touch grass. If you don't like it, you could play another game. These people have such lack of actual real life problems that, like, they have to spend their time trying to find something to fight over. They're so silly that it's entertaining to watch, you know?
As always, longer video here. I appreciate you guys hanging in there and listening, and feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
I continually be problematic by saying every time that sexy girl and boy in my video games is the best. Mua, 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 mua.